What if the one thing holding you back from the connection you crave is your silence? Think about it. How many moments have you let pass pretending you didn't notice the way she looked at you, the way her energy shifted when you walked into the room, the subtle invitations hidden in her body language? You felt something, but you told yourself not to assume. You talked yourself out of it. You convinced yourself it was nothing. But deep down, something kept pulling at you. A quiet voice that whispered, "Say something, do something. She's waiting." Most men don't miss out because they weren't good enough. They miss out because they never made a move, because fear got louder than desire, because the mind overanalyzed what the heart already knew. You're not weak for hesitating. You've just been conditioned to doubt what you feel, to second-guess instincts, to believe that if she wanted something, she would say it first. But here's the truth, she won't. Not because she doesn't care, but because she's waiting for you to prove you're a man who's not afraid to lead. It's easy to fall into the trap of overthinking, to convince yourself that you're imagining the signs. But attraction, especially the kind that matters, doesn't scream. It whispers. It hides in stolen glances, in nervous laughs, in the way her voice softens when she says your name. She's showing you everything without saying a word. And the longer you wait, the louder her doubt becomes. Not just in you, but in her own decision to open up. The window doesn't stay open forever. When you don't act, it slowly closes. And here's what hurts the most. You'll never know what could have been. You'll carry that weight longer than rejection. Regret lasts longer than a no, because rejection gives you closure. Regret just leaves you haunted by the idea of what if. What if you had stepped up? What if you had trusted your gut? What if she was the one, and all she needed was one sign of courage from you? You're not just learning about signs today. You're reclaiming your power. You're unlocking clarity in a world that feeds on confusion. Every signal she gives is a chance for you to lean in with calm confidence, to stop waiting for permission and start trusting your presence. Because if she's into you, and chances are if you're here, she is, then your move isn't pressure, it's relief. It answers the question she's been afraid to ask. And when you act from truth, from grounded certainty, everything changes. So stay with this. Don't just listen, feel it. This isn't about game or manipulation. It's about emotional courage, knowing when to step forward with heart, not ego. By the end of this, you won't just recognize the signs, you'll know exactly what to do with them, because she's not waiting forever. But right now, she's still waiting for you. If you've ever wondered why she doesn't just say how she feels, it's because her silence is a test. When she's praying, you pass. Not a game, not manipulation, but a deep-rooted need to feel chosen, pursued, and safe. Most women have been hurt for being too open, too forward, too honest. So now, instead of risking their heart, they send signals. They wait. They hope the man they're drawn to will be bold enough to step into the unknown and lead. That man could be you, if you stop waiting for certainty and start trusting your intuition. There's a psychological reason behind her quiet cues. She's watching how you respond to subtle moments, how you carry yourself, whether you notice the unspoken. Because if you can't pick up her signs, she'll wonder if you'll notice her needs. And if you're afraid to make the first move, she'll question whether she's safe to let her guard down. This is about more than attraction. This is about emotional safety. She's not looking for someone to chase her. She's searching for someone who sees her, someone who listens without her needing to scream, someone who acts before she begs. Women are not drawn to indecision. They're drawn to presence, to strength without aggression, to clarity without pressure. She doesn't need you to be perfect. She needs you to be real, grounded, secure enough in yourself to handle her complexity, brave enough to risk rejection, not because you need validation, but because you recognize connection when it stands in front of you. That kind of confidence is rare, and when she feels it, she leans in. Mentally, emotionally, even physically. You've been taught to wait for a sign. But what if the sign has already been given, and your delay is starting to look like indifference? Think about how many women walk away, not because they weren't interested, but because the man never acted. She doesn't want to wonder, she wants to know. And every time you pull back, you train her to pull away. But every time you lean in with calm strength, you create a space where she can let go of her fear. The truth is, most of what holds you back isn't her. It's you, your fear, your doubt. The old voices in your head telling you you're not enough, or that she'd never feel the same. But what if those voices are wrong? What if she's been dropping signs not because she's unsure, but because she's waiting for you to believe in yourself? That's what this is really about. Trusting that you're worthy of what you want. that you don't have to chase, impress, or perform. Just step forward with clarity and care. She feels your hesitation. She also feels your presence. And right now, she's hoping your presence wins, because if it does, everything changes for both of you. There's something powerful about the way her eyes move when she thinks you're not watching. She doesn't look at everyone like that. It's different when it's you. There's an attention, a focus, a softness. It's not just attraction, it's interest layered with hope. Hope that you'll notice, hope that you'll respond. And yet she'll never say it outright, because for her, the gaze is the question, and your response is the answer. If you're aware, if you're present, you'll feel it. The subtle pause when your eyes meet, the stillness, the unspoken energy that passes between two people who both feel something but pretend they don't. This is where most men lose the moment. They look away too fast. They assume it meant nothing. They retreat into logic, overthinking the emotion that was right in front of them. But emotion doesn't beg to be understood. It simply asks to be felt. When she looks for you in a room, she's not lost. She's drawn. She wants to know if you'll meet her in that invisible space between fear and desire, if you'll match the vulnerability she's quietly risking. It's not about staring. It's about noticing, feeling, responding with presence, not panic. There's a reason her glance lingers a little longer with you. It's because in her mind, 1,000 possibilities are playing out. And one of them is you finally saying what she's been hoping to hear. One of them is you stepping into her orbit, not with pressure, but with calm certainty. Eye contact is intimacy without words. It's honesty without confession. It's her way of saying, I see you. Do you see me too? And if you miss that signal, you don't just miss a moment, you miss her. Women don't wait around forever. They notice who pays attention. They watch who responds to their energy. And if they don't feel seen, they slowly start to shut down. Not because they didn't care, but because they grew tired of caring alone. Your awareness is what keeps her open. It's not grand gestures or poetic lines. It's the small, quiet moments when you truly see her. When you look at her, not through her. When your gaze tells her, I'm not afraid of this connection. You don't need to decode her. You need to feel her. Trust your instinct when it tells you her eyes are saying more than her lips ever could. She's not playing hard to get. She's protecting herself from disappointment. But if you give her a reason to believe that you're different, that you're grounded, present, real, she'll meet you halfway. And from that moment, everything changes. Because now it's no longer just her waiting. Now it's both of you standing in a moment that only courage can unlock. One look can be the beginning of something real, if you're brave enough to hold it. When a woman wants to be near you without a clear reason, it's not coincidence, it's connection trying to happen. She may not say a word, but her presence speaks volumes. People don't gravitate toward energy they don't feel something for. If she keeps finding herself around you, sitting closer than she has to, standing nearby when there's space elsewhere, choosing the same side of the room when no one's watching, it means something. She's not hoping you'll notice what she's doing. She's hoping you'll notice what she's feeling. This kind of proximity isn't about convenience. It's about comfort. It's about subtle longing. It's how attraction first breathes. Quietly, gently, before words are ever spoken. She's placing herself within reach, not because she needs something from you, but because something in you pulls her closer. It's emotional gravity. And if you're too distracted by doubt, you'll miss the pull completely. She's giving you access. She's breaking her own walls without making it obvious. She's saying, in the only way she can without risking rejection, I feel something around you, and I want to be near it. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. Real attraction doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just shows up and stands quietly next to you, hoping you'll feel it too. That's how she moves. That's how she communicates. With subtle shifts, quiet gestures, invisible bridges. The more she shows up near you, the louder the silence becomes. The question isn't whether she's interested. The question is whether you'll act on what you already know. This is how trust starts, not with confessions, but with consistency. She's consistent in her presence because she's testing yours. She wants to know if you'll recognize the opportunity without her having to draw you a map. That's where your strength is needed, not in guessing, but in grounding yourself in awareness. Most men miss the moment because they expect it to be dramatic, but real moments are almost always quiet, and this one is no different. If she keeps entering your space, stop looking for a sign. You're in it. Your move doesn't have to be bold. It just has to be clear. A simple word, a small gesture, a calm approach. Just enough to let her know you see her, not just physically, but emotionally. When you take that step, you answer a question she didn't have the courage to ask. You validate a hope she's been carrying in silence. And that's not just attractive. It's transformative, because in a world full of noise and confusion, the one who moves with clarity creates the spark everyone else is afraid to ignite. Right now, she doesn't need more time. She needs your presence. She's already in position. She's already within reach. Now the only thing missing is you stepping into the space she's already opened. You don't need a perfect line. You just need to show up with truth. Because once you do, she'll stop wondering and start unfolding. There's a shift you can feel in the air when she sees you. It's not loud. It's not forced. It's a subtle transformation in her energy. Her posture softens, her expression lightens, her presence changes. That's not a reaction she gives to everyone. It's reserved for someone who stirs something deeper. And if you're paying attention, you'll feel it before you see it. Because attraction doesn't just live in words. It radiates through the body, through breath, through the kind of emotional pull that can't be explained, only experienced. When you walk into the room and her whole demeanor elevates, it's not coincidence. That's her internal world responding to yours. Her nervous system feels safer, more alive, more curious in your presence. She's not performing, she's reacting. Her energy reflects how you make her feel, seen, stirred, and maybe even a little vulnerable. That's the beauty of real chemistry. It doesn't need validation, it needs awareness. Most people ignore this signal because they're looking for something louder. But loud isn't always real. Real is quiet. Real is raw. Real is the way her body speaks when her mouth stays silent. She won't always smile when you enter. Sometimes she'll go quiet. Sometimes she'll fidget. Sometimes she'll seem unsure. That's not disinterest, that's emotional exposure. That's what happens when someone feels drawn but isn't sure if it's mutual. You don't need to interpret every detail. You just need to stay grounded enough to notice the shift. Because if your presence changes her, it's because your presence means something, and that's the sign you've been waiting for. You're not just another face in the crowd, not to her. If her energy shifts when you're near, it's because something in you unsettles her guard in the best way. Something in your presence reaches places no one else has touched. That's not something to fear, that's something to honor. Because what you're seeing isn't just attraction, it's permission. Permission to engage, permission to lean in, permission to go deeper. Not through pressure, but through presence. This is where your confidence must rise. Not to impress her, but to reassure her. Your calm is her safety. Your awareness is her trust. When she feels the strength in your stillness, she softens. When she feels the steadiness in your gaze, she opens. She's not looking for a show. She's searching for someone who knows who they are. Someone who doesn't need to dominate the room because his energy already shifts it the moment he walks in. She's already reacting to you. Her energy already speaks the truth she won't voice. What you do next matters. Your presence is either a signal of security or a trigger of hesitation. Lead with clarity. Move with purpose. Feel her energy and respond, not with fear, but with intention. Because when you become the calm in her emotional storm, you become unforgettable. And in that space, where energy meets awareness, something real begins. When she teases you, challenges you, or throws subtle jokes your way, she's not pushing you away, she's pulling you in. Playfulness is a doorway. It's her way of testing your emotional strength without making herself vulnerable too soon. She wants to know if you can handle her spark, if you'll retreat into insecurity or rise with confidence. That moment where she jokes, mocks, or playfully corrects you isn't just banter. It's an invitation wrapped in tension. And how you respond tells her everything about what kind of man you are. Most men misread this. They either get defensive or dismiss it altogether. But what she's really doing is creating emotional contrast. She's giving you a space to lead, not with dominance, but with composure. Can you hold your center when she throws you off balance? Can you play without trying to win? Can you engage without needing to prove yourself? These are the deeper questions beneath every lighthearted jab, every sarcastic grin, every unexpected challenge. It's not about jokes, it's about emotional compatibility. When she teases you, she's giving you a glimpse of her true self. The raw, unfiltered part of her that doesn't perform or pretend. She's watching to see if you make her feel safe enough to let that part out fully. Because if you can meet her there with presence, with wit, with grounded strength, then she knows she can relax. She knows she can trust. And once trust enters, everything shifts. The wall lowers. The distance closes. The space between you becomes charged with something more than just interest. It becomes connection. Play is how we test connection before we name it. It's how people figure out if they can emotionally dance with each other. And for a woman, that dance begins when she feels free to push just enough to see if you'll stay, If you push back playfully, if you engage without ego, if you meet her energy without overpowering it, she'll feel something deeper, respect. And when respect is present, attraction deepens. Because now she doesn't just see you as someone she likes, she sees you as someone who gets her. This isn't about trying to be funny or clever. It's about being emotionally available in moments that feel small but mean everything. It's about staying present when the interaction turns unpredictable. When she challenges you, she's not looking for a reaction, she's looking for alignment. She wants to know that your strength doesn't crush, it anchors, that your confidence doesn't need validation, it creates safety. She's not afraid to spark tension. She's afraid of being misunderstood. And when you show her you understand that, the game stops being a game. It becomes a moment of truth. If she's teasing you, it means you've already caught her attention. Now show her you can hold it, not by overpowering her energy, but by grounding it. Stay calm, stay open, stay you. Because when she feels you can handle her fire, she'll finally trust you with her heart. When she brings up the fact that she's single, especially when she doesn't need to, she's not just stating a fact, she's opening a door. A woman doesn't casually reveal her relationship status without intention. That one sentence is packed with quiet vulnerability. It's her way of clearing the space, letting you know there's room for you in her life. She's not asking you to rush in. She's not begging for attention. She's simply giving you permission to consider what could be. Most men hear those words and do nothing. They smile, nod, change the subject. And just like that, the opportunity fades. You need to understand what's underneath her words. It's not desperation. It's not randomness. It's a signal. She's letting you know she's emotionally available, that her heart isn't somewhere else, that she's not tied up, guarded, or closed off. She's not making a move, but she is giving you a chance to. That's rare. And if you miss it, you're not just missing a sentence. You're missing a moment she built up the courage to create. She might mention it casually, almost like it doesn't matter, but it does. She might throw it in with a laugh or a shrug. But that's a mask. Underneath is a quiet hope you'll hear it differently, that you won't treat it like background noise, that you'll hear the invitation behind the sentence. She's telling you she's single because she wants to see if you're available, not just in status, but in mindset. Emotionally present, ready, awake to the possibility that maybe, just maybe, this connection is real. This is where most men freeze, or they get nervous, unsure of how to respond. But confidence isn't loud here. It's not about delivering the perfect line. It's about leaning in with your awareness, matching her openness with presence, letting her know without rushing that you're not blind to what she's offering. When you meet that moment with emotional clarity, she feels seen. And when a woman feels seen, walls come down fast. She wants to be chosen, but not chased. She wants to be understood, not interrogated. She's given you one of the clearest signs possible, that her life has space for someone who's real, grounded, and willing to connect beyond surface games. Don't wait for her to repeat it. Don't brush it off like small talk. Respond with something rooted. Even a subtle shift in tone, a deeper question, a sincere reaction tells her everything she needs to know. You don't need to rush toward a confession. Just stay open. Stay present. Let her know you heard her, not just the words, but the meaning. Because in that moment, she's not just telling you about her relationship status. She's testing your emotional intelligence. She's asking if you can read the subtext, if you can feel what's real beneath what sounds casual, if you can step into the space she just unlocked. And if you can, everything between you begins to shift. A woman who's truly interested doesn't just make space for you in her words. She makes space for you in her time. Watch what she prioritizes. Time is the most valuable thing she has, and if she's carving out any part of her day to engage with you, even in small ways, she's not doing that by accident. Attention is intention. People invest their energy where they want results, and when a woman is consistently showing up, replying, checking in, laughing at your jokes, asking you how your day went, that's not routine, that's investment. She's choosing to give you energy, and that means something. When someone is unsure, distracted, or simply not into you, their presence feels fractured. You get half answers, late responses, dead conversations. But when a woman is emotionally engaged, she doesn't make you guess. Her energy has warmth. Her messages feel alive. Her voice has spark. And it's not because she's desperate. It's because something in her feels safe enough to give you a piece of herself. That kind of consistency doesn't come from boredom. It comes from a deeper pull. A quiet hope that you're someone she can open up to without regret. This is where many men fall asleep. They misread her consistency as friendliness. They downplay her effort. They tell themselves it's nothing. And in doing so, they ignore a door that may never open again. A woman will only extend herself so far before she starts to close off. If she's leaning in and you stay passive, she'll pull back and protect her heart. She's not asking for you to make grand moves, but she is looking for signs that you're emotionally awake, that you're tuned in, aware, and not numb to connection. This isn't about flooding her with compliments or chasing her with texts. It's about presence. It's about showing up with clarity and depth. It's letting her feel that you value the time she gives, that you recognize the emotional currency she's spending every time she shares a part of her life with you. And when she feels that recognition, trust begins to grow. Trust doesn't blossom through intensity. It grows through steady, consistent energy. The kind of energy that doesn't flinch when emotions deepen. The kind of energy that doesn't disappear when things feel real. A woman's attention is not a game. It's not something to manipulate or ignore. It's a test of your capacity to meet intimacy with courage. Can you show up with equal energy? Can you respond with presence, not performance? Can you recognize that her effort is a silent invitation to step up, not to entertain her, but to respect her emotional investment? Because when a woman is showing up consistently, she's not doing it to fill time. She's doing it because something in her sees potential. And if you match that energy with truth, it's not just attraction. It becomes alignment. When a woman is emotionally invested, she starts to mirror your energy. Not because she's trying to impress you, but because connection naturally creates alignment. The way she texts, the way she listens, the way her energy shifts when you enter the room, it all becomes a reflection of what's unfolding beneath the surface. And it's not loud, it's not theatrical, it's subtle but undeniable. She pays attention to the things you care about. She remembers what you said even when you forgot. She picks up on your emotional shifts, not because you announce them, but because she's attuned to you. That level of sensitivity doesn't come from indifference. It comes from presence. And presence is the most honest form of attraction. You can't fake resonance. When two people begin to connect, it shows in the way their energy flows together. Conversations stop feeling forced. Silence stops feeling awkward. And her responses stop feeling like effort. They become natural, fluid, sincere. She doesn't hesitate to share her thoughts anymore because she's starting to trust that her words land somewhere safe. She's beginning to sense that you're not just another passing distraction. You're someone who listens between the lines, someone who values what's real. And that subtle shift in her openness is one of the clearest signs of interest. Not because she needs validation, but because she's looking for depth, and something in you feels worth exploring. It's easy to miss this when you're too focused on proving your own worth. But if you slow down and truly observe, you'll notice the quiet affirmations she's giving you. Every time she shows up with warmth, you'll see it in her eyes, in her consistency, in the energy she brings into every interaction. And the moment you stop chasing signs and start noticing presence, everything changes. You stop analyzing every message. You stop second-guessing her interest. You begin to feel her intention through how she makes you feel. Safe, seen, significant. This isn't about playing it cool or trying to decode her feelings. It's about being emotionally awake enough to feel when something real is unfolding. When a woman begins to mirror your energy, when she starts to respond with the same level of emotional depth, that's your signal. Not to retreat, not to test, but to meet her there with calm certainty, with honest energy, with your full presence. Because the truth is, emotional alignment is rare. When it begins to form, it deserves attention, not obsession, not pressure, just real attention. If she's showing you she's tuned in, the most powerful move you can make is to stay grounded. Let her feel that you see it, that you honor it, that you're not here to waste her time or guard your ego. You're here to meet her with clarity. Because once she feels that, you stop being a maybe in her world. You become a man who sees her, and that changes everything. When she shares pieces of her world with you, the small details, the fleeting thoughts, the moments that made her pause, it's more than casual conversation. It's an opening, a subtle invitation to step deeper into her life. Sharing is vulnerability disguised as everyday talk. When a woman lets you in on what matters to her, even the little things, she's trusting you with parts of herself she guards carefully. This is not accidental. It's a sign she's creating space for you, carving out emotional territory that wasn't there before. Most men overlook this. They hear the words but miss the meaning. They treat these openings as filler, small talk without significance. But these moments are the threads weaving connection. They're signals that she's testing whether you're capable of holding more than surface-level interaction. When she talks about her dreams, frustrations, or what makes her smile, she's seeing if you're present enough to catch the unspoken feelings beneath the words. She's assessing whether you can listen without judgment, whether you can respond with empathy, whether you're willing to be more than a passing acquaintance. This willingness to share reveals a growing trust. And trust is the foundation of attraction that lasts. It's not built on chemistry alone, but on emotional safety. If she senses that you're distracted, impatient, or self-focused, those small openings will close fast. But if you meet her with genuine attention, if you honor her willingness to be seen, you become a rare kind of man, the kind who doesn't just notice the surface but recognizes the depths below. And that recognition fuels desire in ways words never could. The truth is, attraction isn't a checklist of gestures. It's a living, breathing energy that grows when nurtured with authenticity. When she shares her world, she's inviting you to be part of it, not as an outsider, but as someone who matters. That invitation is a chance to deepen connection with a simple choice, to engage fully or to hold back. When you engage, you're signaling that you value more than just what's easy or convenient. You're signaling that you see her complexity and want to explore it, even if it feels uncertain or vulnerable. This kind of presence demands courage. It asks you to be comfortable with silence, with pauses, with not always knowing the perfect response. It asks you to listen beyond words, to feel beneath the surface. And when you do, something shifts. You become a safe harbor in her storm, a calm center in the chaos. A man who doesn't just pass through her life but leaves an imprint, because connection is not created by loud declarations, but by quiet, consistent recognition of who she truly is. If she's starting to share more with you, recognize it for what it is, a sacred moment of trust. Don't waste it by retreating into your fears or doubts. Lean into it with openness. Let her feel that her words land in a place of respect and care. This is how deep attraction takes root, through small acts of emotional courage that say, I'm here, I see you, I'm willing to be present. And when you choose presence, you choose the possibility of something real, something lasting, something powerful. There's a quiet way she watches you when she thinks you're not paying attention. Her gaze lingers, not out of judgment, but out of curiosity and hope. When a woman looks at you like that, it's more than simple interest, it's a silent question posed without words. She's asking if you see her, not just the surface, but the real person beneath. If you're willing to step into the vulnerability that her look invites. And if you meet that gaze with the calm certainty she's searching for, you become someone who doesn't just exist in her world, you become a presence she wants to hold on to. This kind of eye contact is an unspoken promise. It's a connection forming in the space between two people who are both afraid and eager to be known. When she holds your gaze just a moment longer, it's because she's testing your emotional endurance, your ability to meet her without retreating. She wants to see if you can handle the intensity of real connection, or if you'll crumble under the weight of possibility. And your reaction tells her everything. If you look away too quickly, she questions whether you're truly present. If you hold steady, you signal strength, interest, and respect. Most men overlook this because it feels uncomfortable. We've been conditioned to avoid intense eye contact out of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of exposing ourselves, fear of revealing too much too soon. But that fear is exactly what keeps real connection out of reach. When you lean into the discomfort, when you meet her eyes with steady calm, you break through that barrier. You tell her, without saying a word, that you're willing to be seen, that you're willing to be vulnerable, that you're ready to explore what's possible beyond the surface. This moment of eye contact is a powerful crossroads. It's where hesitation meets opportunity, where doubt meets clarity, where silence meets invitation. And the choice is yours, to look away and retreat into the safety of uncertainty, or to hold your ground and step into something real. That choice defines you in her eyes, not because you say the right thing, but because you show up, because you meet the unspoken challenge with quiet courage, because you understand the connection isn't about rushing in, but about standing firm when the moment demands presence. You don't have to speak, you don't have to perform. Your eyes can say everything she needs to hear. In that steady gaze, you communicate respect, interest, and a willingness to be part of her world. You become the man who sees her, not as a prize to be won, but as a person worthy of your attention and care. And that changes everything. Because in that exchange, attraction becomes something deeper than physical desire. It becomes recognition. Two souls acknowledging each other's presence and potential. If you can hold that gaze long enough to feel its weight, to feel its promise, You're no longer just a bystander. You're a participant in the dance of connection. And that is where courage is born. That is where desire awakens. That is where the first move begins. She often lets her guard down when she's around you, even if only in the smallest ways. A subtle shift in her posture, a softer tone in her voice, the way her laughter becomes more genuine. These are silent invitations. Vulnerability is rarely loud. It whispers through these tiny cracks in the armor. When a woman is comfortable enough to reveal these moments, it means she's sensing safety. She's beginning to trust you not just with her time, but with pieces of her inner world she normally keeps locked away. This is a powerful sign, one that many overlook because it feels small or insignificant, but it's in these small moments that real attraction grows. You don't have to wait for her to say it out loud. The truth is, most women won't spell it out. They show you who they are by how much of themselves they let you see. Each subtle reveal is a test and a gift, a test to see if you can hold the space without judgment or fear. A gift because it's an opening, a chance for you to meet her beyond the surface. When she softens around you, it's a signal that you're crossing from acquaintance into something deeper, that her walls are lowering because your presence feels different, steady, genuine, accepting. This kind of vulnerability demands more from you than just casual interest. It calls for emotional responsibility, to be present in a way that honors what she's risking by showing up as her real self. Many men confuse vulnerability with weakness and react with discomfort or hesitation. But vulnerability is strength wrapped in openness. When she reveals her true self, she's not asking for pity or protection. She's asking for understanding and respect. The way you respond in these moments will shape the trajectory of your connection. Will you retreat into fear, or will you rise with calm acceptance? Your ability to receive her vulnerability without trying to fix, change, or judge is a magnet. It's what makes her feel safe enough to continue revealing, trusting, and investing. It's the difference between fleeting attraction and lasting connection. The more she senses that your presence creates safety, the more she'll let her guard down. That space is where intimacy begins, not through grand gestures, but through consistent emotional availability. She's not looking for perfection, she's looking for presence. This dynamic is subtle but transformative. It's about recognizing that attraction is not a one-sided pursuit, it's a dance of mutual trust and openness. She's giving you signals you can't ignore if you want something real. Those quiet moments when she drops her defenses, when she laughs without reservation, when her eyes meet yours with softness, these are the signals that matter. They're invitations to move beyond fear and into connection. If you respond by stepping forward with steady presence, you become the man who doesn't just attract, but who holds, who doesn't just chase, but who nurtures. Because true attraction thrives in safety, and safety grows from vulnerability met with courage. In those small, tender moments of softening, the path to something deeper is already being paved. Your choice is simple: walk it or watch it fade. Her body language speaks a language few can read, but those who learn to listen understand its power. The way she tilts her head slightly when you speak, the subtle lean toward you in a crowded room, the way her feet point in your direction even when her words say otherwise, all of these are unconscious signals of attraction. These small gestures are her body's way of telling a story her mind might still be hesitant to voice. When she unconsciously closes the distance between you, it's because something in her is drawn to your presence, even if she's not ready to admit it openly. This silent communication is a secret language of desire that reveals more truth than any words could. Reading these signs requires you to quiet your mind and tune into the rhythm of her energy. Attraction is rarely loud or obvious in the early stages. It's in the subtle dance of proximity and attention. She's testing the waters, gauging your reaction, feeling for safety without risking too much. Her body gives away what her lips won't say, offering clues to the connection she's willing to explore. To ignore these signals is to miss the invitation she's extending silently. The question is, will you be aware enough to answer it? These small shifts in posture and movement are rooted in primal psychology. Our bodies react first, often before our conscious minds catch up. This means her actions can reveal her truth before her words do. When you notice these gestures and respond with calm confidence, you affirm her feelings without pressure or expectation. You create a space where she feels understood on a level deeper than conversation alone. That kind of recognition sparks a powerful attraction because it honors her vulnerability without demanding explanation. Too often, men overlook these signs because they're waiting for something more obvious, a bold confession, or a direct invitation. But true attraction grows in the unspoken moments, in the pauses between words, in the way energy flows naturally when two people are drawn to each other. By tuning into these body language cues, you gain an edge not just in recognizing her interest, but in deepening the connection with authenticity. You become a man who sees beyond surface-level signals and meets her where she truly is. This awareness calls for presence, not performance. You don't need to act on every sign impulsively. Instead, you need to acknowledge them internally and respond with grounded clarity. Let your calm confidence communicate that you see her interest and that you're willing to move at a pace that respects her comfort. This balance of awareness and patience is magnetic. It shows emotional intelligence and restraint, qualities that invite deeper trust and attraction. When you honor these subtle signs, you transform the energy between you. The unspoken becomes electric, charged with possibility. Each gesture she makes becomes a building block for connection, rather than a puzzle to be solved. Recognizing and responding to her body's language creates a foundation of mutual understanding. In that foundation lies the power to move beyond hesitation and into a space where genuine connection can flourish. This is the hidden key to attraction, reading her signals not just with your eyes, but with your presence. When she seeks your opinion or asks for your advice, it's far more than casual curiosity. It's a signal that she values your perspective and trusts your judgment. This is a subtle but powerful form of emotional investment. She's testing whether you're someone who understands her world, someone whose insights resonate beyond surface level. When a woman reaches out to you for guidance, it means she's considering you a safe harbor, a reliable presence in the chaos of her thoughts and feelings. This is a profound invitation, not always consciously given, but deeply meaningful. Many men mistake this for friendliness or politeness and fail to recognize the emotional weight behind the request. But when she wants your input, she's allowing you into her inner circle. She's opening a door that few get to cross, revealing parts of herself that need support, validation, or clarity. This is a moment to demonstrate emotional maturity, to listen deeply, and to respond with authenticity. Your words become more than advice. They become a reflection of how much you care, how attentive you are, and how present you can be. The way you respond here matters immensely. It's not about offering solutions or fixing problems. It's about showing that you're willing to stand beside her, that you respect her autonomy, and that you're capable of holding space for her vulnerability. When you respond with empathy rather than impatience, when you prioritize understanding over judgment, you reinforce the trust she's placing in you. That trust is the soil in which attraction flourishes. Without it, even the strongest initial chemistry can wither. This is a subtle dance between connection and respect. She's signaling interest by inviting your perspective, but she's also watching to see if you respect her boundaries and autonomy. If you rush to dominate the conversation or push your own agenda, you risk closing the door she just cracked open. But if you listen with patience and respond with thoughtful care, you become the man who doesn't just attract, but who truly connects. That is the difference between fleeting desire and lasting emotional bond. Recognizing this sign requires more than just hearing the words. It demands emotional awareness and active presence. It asks you to move beyond surface-level interaction and meet her where she is emotionally, to show that your interest is not superficial, but grounded in genuine care and attentiveness. When you master this, you become a rare presence, a man who not only attracts but holds space for real intimacy. This shifts the dynamic entirely because she begins to see you not just as an option, but as someone indispensable. If she's seeking your advice, take it seriously. Let it be a moment where you affirm her worth, acknowledge her strength, and demonstrate your reliability. This is where your emotional intelligence becomes your greatest asset. It's where you stop being a stranger and start becoming someone who matters. And when she feels that, attraction deepens naturally. The door she opened with a simple question becomes the pathway to something meaningful. You don't have to rush. You just have to be ready. When she makes an effort to remember the little things about you, the details you mention in passing, the small preferences that reveal who you are, it's a signal of her growing investment. Memory is more than just recalling facts. It's a way the brain prioritizes what matters. When she holds on to your words, it means she's paying attention because you matter to her. These small acts of remembering, repeated consistently, build an invisible thread between you that grows stronger with every interaction. This isn't accidental. It's a sign she's moving from casual interest to something deeper, where you occupy space in her thoughts even when you're not around. Many men underestimate the power of these moments. They brush them off as polite or incidental, failing to see that memory is a form of emotional connection. When a woman recalls your favorite book, your birthday, or how you like your coffee, she's revealing that you've become important enough to be stored in her mental landscape. That matters, because in a world filled with distractions and noise, remembering someone's truth is a sacred act of attention. And attention is the currency of attraction. Her efforts to remember show that she's tuning in, that she's creating a mental map where you're a marked destination. This is her way of saying, without words, that she values what you bring into her life. She's not just hearing you, she's internalizing you. That creates emotional resonance, a frequency that draws people closer when acknowledged and honored. When you respond to this by acknowledging her memory, by showing gratitude or reminding her that her attentiveness matters, you create a feedback loop that deepens trust and connection. It's a subtle but profound way of building intimacy. Recognizing this sign is about tuning into the small but consistent moments where she shows she's invested. It's in the way she surprises you by recalling something you thought was forgotten. It's in the way she brings up a past conversation as if it still holds weight. These actions are whispers of her interest, echoes of her desire to be closer. When you honor this by responding with presence and appreciation, you reinforce that the space she's carved for you in her mind and heart is safe and welcomed. This dynamic demands more than surface-level attention. It requires you to be fully present, emotionally aware, and genuinely grateful for the connection she's building. Attraction is not just sparked by grand gestures or intense moments. It's nurtured in these everyday acts of recognition. By valuing the memories she holds about you, you validate her effort and deepen the emotional bond that's forming. This isn't manipulation, it's emotional intelligence, a powerful tool to cultivate lasting connection. If she's remembering you, you're no longer just passing through her life, you're becoming part of her story. The challenge is to respond with equal care, to meet her attentiveness with your own, to hold space for this growing connection without rushing or retreating. Because when you do, attraction evolves from a flicker into a flame, fueled by the sacred dance of memory and presence. There is a profound power in how she responds when you share your vulnerabilities. When a woman listens not just with her ears but with her heart, she's offering more than sympathy. She's extending a bridge of emotional connection. If she leans in when you speak about your fears, your dreams, or your failures, it signals a deep level of interest. She's saying without words that your inner world matters to her, that she's willing to hold space for your truth. This is one of the most intimate signs she's waiting for you to make a move. Not because she's asking for perfection, but because she's seeking authenticity. Most men shy away from opening up because they fear rejection or judgment. But when she reacts with genuine care and curiosity instead of dismissal, it creates a safe container for you to be seen as you are. Her willingness to engage with your emotional reality reveals her readiness for something meaningful. It's a sign that she's not interested in surface-level interactions, but in a connection that honors both your strengths and your vulnerabilities. This kind of openness lays the foundation for trust, a non-negotiable element in deep attraction. The way she mirrors your emotional honesty tells you where she stands. If she matches your willingness to be raw and real, it means she's emotionally invested. If she responds with warmth, patience, and understanding, she's signaling that she values your inner world and wants to be part of it. This emotional reciprocity is a powerful dance that builds intimacy naturally and organically.